Here's Rob Dibble.
Surprised that the Seahawks didn't say that Daniel Jones' knee to that dude's head wasn't dirty. Dude, you stick your head at a guy's knee, and you take one in the head, you go in concussion protocol. Come on.
Things happen. I don't know. That was a straight-up knee, and that was just a Jamal. I felt for Jamal Adams, man. That dude was working
He lasted
year
9
back
plays.
to get to 9 plays.
385 days he missed.
I wish we had a camera on him in the tunnel as he was trying to fight some of the physical therapists,
off the field,
personal trainer, or athletic trainers.
Dinged.
He was definitely dinged. That is the reason that you have people protect these players from themselves.
Exactly.
Now, the plays on the out of bounds, it wasn't the only one. Kenneth Walker took one as well from the Giants. It did feel like frustration tackles that didn't get called. But like Dib said, man, it is football. If you're out there. And, you know, the blowback of Geno Smith coming at you, too, is some things that could happen. But in the end, that was the sloppiest football game I have ever seen.
It was bad. And it's bad product when it's the only game on. I think the doubleheaders kind of protect you from that. Okay, I'll turn that off and oh, God, this is a close game. This is great. When you don't have anything to fall back on, a contingency plan, and you're stuck watching that like we were, you start to see some false. But listen, they missed Saquon Barkley. You know, they've got other guys that are injured that are on the sideline. How banged up is Saquon Barkley, or is he at this point trying to keep himself out until he 100% feels like he can play? Listen,
I don't want to play behind that offensive line right now.
No, you don't. But at the same time, you know, there's other guys that are willing to go out there and play, and there's other guys willing to go out there and play hurt, and they're doing the best that they can. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think the Giants are as bad as they are because they don't have their starting staff. Look at what we just witnessed after a couple of weeks of no Aaron Rodgers. The Jets were actually able to get some offense going. It took a while. It took some first-team reps, and it's not easy to get guys to have a cohesive gelling. And I think that happened. You saw it with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. After 3 awful weeks, all of a sudden, wow, that's the team that we expected 3 weeks ago. A lot of it, I think, is the rust coming off. A lot of it is these guys are starting to get comfortable with each other, knowing each other. You have so many new pieces and parts to some of these teams. But listen, that the Seahawks aren't that good. You made them look like they're world beaters. Listen, Geno Smith, 13 for 20.
He was dealing with offensive line issues, too.
He was rushing He was being rushed all night. Give the defensive front of the Giants a lot of credit. They were all over him like a cheap suit last night. So I just think some of these teams have some good points. Some of them have some bad points. Some things on the offense can be cleaned up. But I think when you put no time for Jones to throw, no Saquon Barkley to give you a little bit of leeway to get the back to be sucked up because this guy's gaining 7 yards every carry, it's not easy to be a one-dimensional team.
I think that this game turned, and Philadelphia Eagles should be watching the play. The tush-push for first down that did not happen. Now,
take the points, dude. Why do you take the points off the board?
Well, the center, I think it was John Michael Schmitz that was hurt, center.
And so is Bellinger, the tight end, is hurt too.
So watch this play again, and this is when it happens on the tush-push. He has 2 defensive tackles of Seattle.
Which we've talked about.
Right.
Why aren't people doing it?
Well, I never thought that it would put the center in such a vulnerable position. Yeah. So the 2 defensive tackles are in the A gaps, the gap between the center and the guard on both sides. So basically both of his shoulders are going to go straight into 2 people. Now, he did that to perfection, and his head is totally exposed. Ugh. The middle linebacker of Seattle, or whoever will be this,
he's going to jump in there
right into his head. And actually, if you watch this replay,
might be Wagner.
I think it is Bobby Wagner. And he's the one who makes the tackle, makes the play. He comes into the center, and I don't think he means to do this.
He's just going straight forward.
Right. I think this is the nature of the beast with this quarterback sneak / tush push that has been invented now by the Philadelphia Eagles. When the center's up there and he's got his face exposed between those 2 defensive tackles, the middle linebacker just busts him right across the face with his elbow. And again, I don't think it's on purpose that he does that. He's just trying to get to the quarterback. That took out the center. You can lose a tackle and you can make do. Right. You can lose a guard, you can shuffle some things around. When you lose the center, it is a big deal, especially in the middle of the game. Maybe on Friday we can come up on Saturday and have a hotel game plan where we do some walkthroughs. Obviously, Thursday through Tuesday, it's a lot easier as well. But when you lose the center in the first quarter, it's just like throwing the towel, man. I don't know what you can do.
Well, and Dable admitted today, he said, we haven't practiced that live in a while. We've done it in walkthrough. We haven't done it live.
That is the repercussion that could happen.
So, but they lost 2 players. Remember, their tight end also was hurt on that play. So when you are risking guys' injuries to do this trick play. We've talked about it, but it's something you should practice and understand that, listen, you've got 320-pound dudes behind 320-pound dudes trying to, go through these guys to get 1 yard. Would it be easier to either take a kick or a fake rush, maybe a quick pass? I mean, there's so many other ways you could get that you've practiced, didn't practice the play. 2 guys injured.
Yeah, we'll see how many more teams do it. And if there's more injured players
Daniel
like this,
Bellinger was injured. He left the game after that, never returned.
I think a lot of officials or just, the NFL overlords in general are going to see some of these plays. And if there's enough people getting hurt on it, they're going to stop the tush-push. It might just happen, and last night was the first one. I can't hate on Daniel Jones so much as everyone else is. Now, the pick with Witherspoon that he takes back makes 21. That's bad. That could have been 14-10 instead of 21-3.
Yeah, Mac Jones did it against the Cowboys. I haven't heard one person ripping Mac Jones about his lousy pass.
Not to mention the fumble that he had.
The fumble that, the guy had to run it a whole 5 yards for a touchdown.
I felt bad for Daniel Jones once again this Monday night because he was running for his life, and the only offensive production, minus some Matt Breida runs that broke off pretty nice, were Daniel Jones on his feet or Daniel Jones getting the ball out as quickly as possible because you can just see it. Dude, I think that this guy looks just like Jim Carrey from Me, Myself, and Irene.
You're right.
Every time
he's got those eyes too, man.
That's
you don't want to date a girl that looks like that, and he's just like, he's got perfect Halloween eyes.
That is a great little PSA for our young gentlemen out in the audience. Do not date girls that have Daniel Jones scared stares.
They call it the 1,000-yard stare of a sniper.
But
anyway, but I'm trying to make a point here about Mac Jones. Mac Jones didn't play well. We didn't beat him up as bad as they're beating Daniel Jones up today. You get rid of Daniel Jones. I mean, my goodness, people go bananas after 4 games. Lock and change after 4 games.
Yeah.
I watched video on, fans getting on Mark Davis. Get rid of Josh McDaniels. It's not all Josh McDaniels' fault, and he hadn't been there long enough to really have his own team turn. I remember when Pete Carroll took over Seattle, the first year he had 46 guys, I think, weren't on that roster in his second year. When he got there, he got whatever he got, he inherited. Now he's like, these aren't my kind of players. He turned over the roster. Look at Deion Sanders, what he's doing already. He turned over his roster, kept 3 players from last year's Colorado team. Until it is really Josh McDaniel's squad, I'm going to give the guy a little bit of leeway until I say, well, he's just as bad as he was in Denver.
For the Giants as well last night, Daniel Jones can't make any tackles. The tackling for the New York Giants is to be desired, and that's putting it lightly, man. The Fant, it wasn't a touchdown. He got caught at the 1. That was the first score that started the game. I think it was Kenneth Walker who ended up getting the score in the end. Fant is next to the sideline, which is the 12th defender. I don't know how you don't push this guy out. Honestly, Kurt, no offense, you could have made that play. You could have pushed Noah Fant out of bounds yesterday.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's more of a slight to the New York Giants D, but you're welcome. I don't know how he got through, and he's not. That wasn't the only play. Like even simple runs, they made Kenneth Walker look like an All-Pro. And he is good. And I think Seattle, man, they're very well coached. Pete Carroll does a fantastic job. Dable won Coach of the Year last year, but it could have gone to Pete Carroll last year.
Do we have? We don't have it right now, but later on, Kirk, can you get the radio call of the pick 6? Because I was picking my daughter up from cheerleading, and it's fabulous. So I love going from TV where it's kind of like, and then you get to the radio, and I think it's
Papa.
No,
the Seattle side.
It's the national call. Iron Eagle.
Oh yeah, Westwood One.
Yeah, Westwood One, and
Iron Eagle's the best,
dude.
Great.
But every play he goes like, remember Gary Thorne?
Oh yeah,
we used to call him Game 7 Gary Thorne because he made every call electric. Every even though if it was the most boring game, that's the way I think play-by-play should be. And then you've got Kurt Warner. He's so calm. You could tell he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's so calm. So Ian Eagles over here, probably hands are flailing and stuff like that. And then Kurt Warner's just sitting there going over the play the way it should be.
I really like those two together. I think Warner's brilliant in the way he breaks it down, and Ian Eagles, just like you said, super exciting. The two things I'll say, too, about this game, that Devin Witherspoon, number 21 on the outside, the cornerback, he's a player. Not only did he make the play, the pick six, 97-yard touchdown, but he was hitting, man. Like, he was putting some hits on I don't want any part of. And the other thing is the Giants are in trouble. And they're 1-3, and if we're just playing first half football, they are the worst first half football team in the history of the league. Like, they are just no game plan going in. Whatever you've been working on in practice is scrapped by the third quarter, and it becomes desperation mode. And that's like where they're the most comfortable because they've been living in desperation mode all season. But they're in trouble. 1-3, lucky to be 1-3. They're in a division that is a monster. And I still think there's a lot of drama from that running back in this organization, and I don't see it getting any better. And it could be a longer timeline than the 1 to 3 weeks for Saquon Barkley that we got a couple of weeks ago.
All right, the one guy I thought he's just coming back from injury, Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah, Wan'Dale.
Guy flies around the field.
One of the fastest
Why
guys in
did he
the
get
league.
one carry? That one carry goes 7 yards, and even the announcers are going, oh, that guy's back, and every time he touches the ball, he's electric. Doesn't touch the ball the rest of the game. He gets 6 targets. He catches 5. I think he got about, 30 yards, 40 yards. He got 40 yards receiving. Give these guys the ball in the backfield. Give them the ball in the backfield. And I love the fact, if you're watching Kansas City, like 85% of their plays, guys are in motion.
Yeah.
Guys are in motion. Explain that, why it's so difficult to cover receivers or running backs that are always in motion.
Well, most of the time, the first and foremost thing, when you see somebody going in motion, it's for the quarterback. And the quarterback is looking to see if someone's just going to follow him. If they follow him, that's man coverage. If they switch their safeties from one to be deep, one to be close, then it's either a cover 4 or a cover 2 or possibly a cover 3 or even an 8-7 switch. But that right there is like a tell. It's like, you got to do something. We're going to do something. We're going to see how you react.
Right.
But then I love Kansas City is a great example because they bring that, I guess we call it a reverse motion where, the receiver looks like he's going to run a reverse. Sometimes he gets behind the quarterback and then doubles back and comes back the other way. Those are the first motion that you see. Like, let's just talk about Wan'Dale Robinson. If he gets a reverse off that first motion, we gave you that. You saw that. Even if it went for 0 yards or a loss, you saw that, and we can do that. Next time, we're going to fake that handoff and then come off of something else. There's usually like 9 plays built into every single play that has motion and that can be manipulated by the quarterback. I thought they did that very well in the first quarter to move the ball, but
they went away from it.
Third downs, and here's the other thing about this game. The penalties, dude. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't even care if they are penalties or not, but the flags were flying every single play. Anytime
pick up the laundry.
Anybody had a great play, I'm just waiting for it. What was the holding? What was the hands to the face? Like, oh, my goodness, man. Yeah, pick up the laundry. Let them play some football every now and then. You didn't call the one for Geno on the sideline, but then you call the other ticky.
Seattle, 8 for 74. The Giants, 6 for 45.
Those are the ones accepted.
Right.
Those were the ones accepted.
So, but when it's the only product on, you want a better game.
It was rough. Maybe throw Taylor Swift. She was in New York Sunday. Why don't she just stick around and throw some pictures up? Taylor Swift.
Really? MLB playoffs start today. Woo! Right now, you got the actually it's the Devil Rays taking on the Rangers. They have their old Devil Ray uniforms on. Kurt noticed that. Maybe those are their lucky ones. I've always, when I was playing, and it was a couple hundred years ago, the pitcher of the day says what uniform he's most comfortable wearing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. So that's the way it used to be. I don't know if Kevin Cash called what they're going to wear, but they're not wearing their regular home Rays stuff. So they're wearing their old-time Tampa Bay Devil Rays unis.
Okay, they tricked us. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get the game on the tube. So the warm-up was on ESPN, but the actual game will be on ABC. It'll be in one of these corners. I just put it on our TVs here, but Glass now looks ready to go, man.
Dude,
Glasnow looks locked in.
I'm jealous of today's players. Their hair is amazing. I'm not going to lie.
He's got some good stuff going on.
I've got players right now that they can't throw a pitch without their hat popping off because they got so much hair. And I'm just like, you kids, you must use more product than the girls right now because you got such fabulous hair.
Probably true.
Glasnow, he's got some hair, man.
Texas, Tampa Bay will start our day. After that, we're going to be going to Minnesota. Toronto, Minnesota will be a 4:30 first pitch.
Gausman Lopez. That should be another good match.
Okay,
all of these are going to be really good matchups to start the playoffs.
But Blue Jays didn't announce until late last night who was going to be pitching. So Gausman on the hill.
They don't want Baldelli to have, and most of these guys are sitting there anyway, stressing over what lineup I'm going to put out there.
Right.
You want Baldelli to stress as long as possible and dwell on who are we going to face. We're going to go with the lefties to start the game. We're going to go with the righty to start the series. Who am I going to have in the lineup? So they don't want to let that guy have an early evening or a pain-free mental evening. So they went right out of him. Then Barrios gets game 2 against Sonny Gray. So
okay.
Back-to-back righties. We don't have anybody for game 3. I would assume if you're up, it's probably 1-1, but it'll probably be a lefty in game 3 if you're Toronto.
7 o'clock will be Diamondbacks, Milwaukee as the NL gets started in the late night games. And then at 8 o'clock will be Miami versus Philadelphia. So there you go. Playoffs are set. According to my calculations, after this ABC broadcast at 3 o'clock, everything else will move to ESPN and ESPN2. ESPN2 will have Diamondbacks, Milwaukee. The others will be on ESPN.
I love that they've relaxed some of the rules. I watched the Rays a lot the entire season. There are a couple of guys that I think their mothers have had breast cancer, and they've been wearing pink, either a sleeve or a wristband or whatever. I think this is a Rose Arena at the plate right now in Jordan Montgomery, and they're allowing them pink belts. I mean, they're relaxed. They've relaxed the cleat stuff over the years. I just think it's the right thing to do. The entire month is breast cancer awareness. I think the catcher, if that's not a red mask, it looks like a pinkish mask in the front. I just like that kind of stuff. That's the way it should be, man. It's not like everybody's got to be uniform. Everybody's got to have the same stuff on. That's too anal.
Yeah, I don't know why we even got crazy about that in the beginning. What do you think about the Phils not having Lorenzen on their roster?
I like Michael Lorenzen, but again, we talked about this with Tim Wakefield. For the first 3 games, you don't need 4 starting pitchers. You need more bullpen. And so maybe Lorenzen was the odd man out of going to the pen. I don't know what's going on in their training room.
Exactly said right there.
Yeah. So in the 3-game series, man, you got to just get to the division series. So this 2 out of 3, you see the different managing and mix and matching of who would be facing this guy from the 7th inning on, 6th inning on, that kind of stuff. And that's why Rob Thompson chose to go without Lorenzen. Not that he didn't deserve to be on the roster.
Just threw a no-hitter.
Yeah, just the first 3 games, we don't need your services. Maybe he gets to set game 1, or if they get to the second round, gets game 2 or game 3.
So there's a couple other ones that are not going to be in the postseason, but you're used to them in the regular season. Sticking with Philadelphia, Byron Buxton, Johnny Cueto, and Jonathan Hernandez also left off the roster.
I told you Cueto was garbage in September.
You told me Cueto was garbage 3 years ago, and you're probably right with that. Matt Bush will not be playing for the Texas Rangers. He got left off the roster as well. Jose Siri, as we know, has been hurt with that broken hand. Yep. He is off Tampa Bay. I think that's a big deal that nobody knows about. Jose Siri is nails, man. He's one of those players that have been in the lineup all year long. Oh, I'm so sad about this one. I wanted everyone, especially Mets fans, to see and learn Rowdy Tellez of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Rowdy's not going to be in there?
Rowdy Tellez. They dropped the first baseman off the roster. He did have 2 home runs in the 2021 postseason, but he is not going to be a part of the series against Arizona.
He might be back for the second round. I mean, here's the thing. I'm watching the Rose Arena off of Montgomery. He almost just took Jordan Montgomery's head off.
Oh, no.
So you have an ex-Yankee starting for the Rangers today. You have an ex-Red Sox that will be starting for the Rangers tomorrow. I pay attention to this stuff. Jesus Luzardo pitching for Miami, ex-Oakland Athletic. a lot of these, again, people wonder, well, how's Miami do it on a limited budget? How does Tampa Bay or some of these other organizations? Now, obviously, Texas, they went out and signed Montgomery as a free agent. They spent money. Eovaldi was money well spent to get that guy onto this team and get them to the postseason. But when you see some of these other organizations, Tampa Bay, Glasnow was a trade with the Pirates years ago. So, all of these guys starting right now started in someone else's farm system that's really good scouting and evaluation to eventually get them to where they are, and now they're part of your organization. A lot of guys on Tampa Bay, by the way, started somewhere else. We'll take a quick break.